So YouTube paid me £9,000 or $12,764 for 1 million views on my small channel with 20,000 subscribers. But it's not just about the total figure. We need to dive into the interesting background of how a channel actually makes that amount of money and all of the factors that YouTube has to consider, because every YouTuber makes a different amount of money for their views and it depends on lots of different things. I'll also show you my own channel behind the scenes and how all of this ties together further in the video. Not a lot of people really know how much YouTube videos can make, with guesses ranging from $50 for a video up to $1,000 for a video, and actually both answers would be correct. Now, I want to be transparent with money, and that makes sense being a personal finance channel where money shouldn't be taboo whatsoever. It might be a British thing where people don't really talk about money and talk about salaries, but in schools, they don't really teach you anything to do with money, so if I can share my knowledge with other people and inspire others along the way, just like I was inspired by watching these kind of videos, then this video has done its job in my eyes. Some people, likely the people who click and watch, will genuinely find it interesting or inspiring to stay motivated on their own YouTube channels. Also, I'm making this because as YouTubers, it's all about creating content to reach viewers, and these style of videos always pique the interest of others, so hopefully this will reach a wider audience and inspire those who are outside of the day-to-day subscribers. So if you've been watching long enough, you'll know how I structure my companies so that YouTube income is essentially fed up into a holding company and then down into property investing. So basically, YouTube is paying for the houses that I buy and work on. Alright, so first we need to talk about CPMs and RPMs. CPM stands for cost per mille, which essentially means the cost per 1,000 views that the advertiser wants to pay to get their ads in front of your audience 1,000 times. And then you have RPM, which is revenue per mille, which is what you actually earn per 1,000 views after YouTube take their cut, which is around 45%, leaving you with 55%. So for example, on my channel, my RPM is £9.30 and my CPM is £16.01 as an average over the past 90 days. Now, this does fluctuate, so the highest RPM that I've seen on the channel in the past 3 months being monetized was £19.12 per 1,000 views, meaning the highest CPM was £28.19, which is not bad. This is considered really high for YouTube, which is typically what you get on the finance niches, where typically advertisers pay more for ads. To put this into perspective, my friend Ive Learned, who is a very big YouTuber with 1.8 million subscribers at the time of filming this, has an RPM of about £2 and a CPM of £5.93, meaning that I need 4.5 times less views than Ali to make the same amount of money. Meaning if he got 1 million views on a video, I'd probably only need about 220,000 views to make the same total revenue, because our CPMs and RPMs are different. Now, this varies massively between all of the different niches. Ali's in productivity, but he does have a little bit of tech and personal finance thrown into the mix. But all of this really depends how commercially viable your niche is. Can it be monetized, and are advertisers willing to pay for it? The more competitive the niche is, the higher the rates, meaning you're going to earn more. There's also loads of other factors that can affect RPMs and CPMs. For example, in India, they tend to be a lot less and advertisers don't pay as much, whereas in the US, which from what I've seen in my analytics and from other general YouTubers, the general consensus is that the US tends to pay the highest CPMs and the highest RPMs. As well as location and country, which is generally tied to the strength of a country's economy, age is another big factor. So advertisers want to target people who have disposable income and will firstly click on their ads, but then also secondly purchase whatever it is that they're advertising or selling. So they want to target audiences who are working professionals and have the money to purchase, therefore they're more valuable. This means if your audience is made up of people who are, say, in their 30s or 40s, then you're likely going to earn more than if your audience is made up of teenagers or kids, because they're not as financially powerful as full-grown adults, and therefore advertisers pay less. So that's all of the demographical side of how YouTube audiences impact CPMs and RPMs, but YouTube released a feature in the past few years that changed everything: Midroll Ads. Now, Midroll Ads used to be only available on videos over 10 minutes long, but YouTube did recently make a change to this, where it now only has to be over 8 minutes long. So this has been a real game changer for a lot of YouTubers, meaning that they can skyrocket their CPMs and RPMs by showing multiple ads throughout the video. Of course, if you don't want to annoy your viewers, then what you don't want to do is stuff ads every 10 seconds. But when you think about it and compare traditional TV against YouTube, With TV, you tend to watch about 5 minutes of ads for every 10 to 15 minutes, whereas on YouTube, you tend to watch a 5-second skippable ad every few minutes. So it is still way better on YouTube, and it means that people can consume awesome content for free. And for the sake of a mild annoyance of a 5-second ad to help support the YouTuber, they can still make money in return. Typically, a lot of my newer videos tend to be, or at least I try to make them between 12 to 15 minutes long, depending on how much energy I have to sit and edit a 15-minute video versus a 12-minute video. But this means that I can put extra mid-roll ads throughout the video, which I typically tend to do for 1 every 3 minutes, which means for every 1,000 views, I might actually end up showing that person multiple ads rather than one person getting one ad. And they still get the same great content, spend a few more extra seconds watching ads, and YouTube reward me with higher CPMs and RPMs, making the time spent on the video a little bit more worth it. Since introducing mid-roll ads, I know that some YouTubers who have doubled, if not tripled their income because of it. So for me, being a newer channel, I knew that early on I needed to make all of my videos over 8 minutes, and I think 1 or 2 might be below that, but over 99% of the videos on the channel are over 8 minutes and therefore monetizable with multiple mid-roll ads. It might sound all rosy and great looking at the revenue that can be made on YouTube, but what a lot of people don't see is the hours and hours of work that goes into generating ideas, scripting, filming, editing, publishing, which for me, when I make 1 to 2 videos a week, can take around 20 to 30 hours of work, which on top of a day job and other interests in property investing is a really big commitment. So it's a platform where you really also need to be uploading consistently 1 to 2 times a week for 2 years to start to see good results. So many people quit on YouTube because they'll post a few videos and get a little bit disheartened that they've got 10 views, but it really is a long game and there's no get rich quick whatsoever on the platform. Now, I beat the curve somewhat with my channel growth, but I also invested heavily into all of the equipment that you have around, and I took a YouTube course to really understand how to construct a video and really get the most out of the platform on day 1. But even with all of that, it's taken me 6 months of consistently pushing out 2 videos a week to see some form of solid growth. So it's definitely not a get rich quick scheme. And actually, when you do the maths, assuming that I've been on YouTube for half a year and worked 20 hours a week on everything from scripting to editing to the metadata and the thumbnails, that's 520 hours dedicated to creating and building this channel into what it is today. And that actually works out at a generous £17.30 an hour, which actually isn't bad at all, but I didn't get a penny of that for 6 months. Imagine starting a brand new job and then working solidly for 6 months with no pay, but also no guarantee of when you'd be paid or how much, and that is the reality of YouTube. On top of all the time, you also have to think about the gear and your production quality as well. Now, I knew that I wanted to put myself above the other competition on YouTube by making sure that my production quality was somewhat better and trying to stack all of my unfair advantages over others to try and grow. And I think it paid off, but it meant investing £2,500 into the channel very early on, which is a big commitment when you don't know really what's going to happen without any guarantees. So my own goal for this year was A, to get monetized, and B, to make enough money to pay off the initial investment. But I can safely say after 6 months, I genuinely do love creating YouTube videos. It's really good fun, it's a great creative output, and I love how engaged the community are. There's not really another platform where you can push out content and then people DM you, saying that I'd love to have a chat with you on Zoom and see what you're doing, and it's this really nice thing that you don't tend to get on any other platform. But then at the same time, I can make some serious money by helping others while being creative and making videos. It's a great creative output outside of the day job, and I've met so many awesome people along the way, and people always wonder, is it too late to start a YouTube channel? Or that the best time to start was 2 years ago? But I strongly disagree. It's one thing I really worried about at the start, but a lot of big YouTubers today weren't around 3 years ago, and I read a really interesting stat that the next biggest YouTubers in 3 years have less than 1,000 subscribers today, so anything could really happen. You also have to remember that the site is the second biggest in the world, only behind Google, with the amount of views and watch hours per view increasing every single year. So we need more content creators to help meet all of that demand. There's over 2 billion users on YouTube, and that's increasing every year. On YouTube's press website, they say that the number of channels earning 6 figures per year grew more than 40% year on year. And the number of channels earning 5 figures per year grew more than 50% year on year. But most exciting is that the number of channels with more than 1 million subscribers grew by more than 65% year on year. So it really is not slowing down, and it really isn't too late. And I'm amazed that I've somehow grown this awesome community of 20,000 subscribers in 6 months, and cannot wait to see where it's going to be in 2 years' time. So yes, there's lots more people, and loads of people have created YouTube channels during the pandemic, but there's also a lot of people looking for valuable content online as well. And there's an ever-growing audience demanding great new content from new creators like me and you. And when you compare TV, we have so many awesome services like Netflix, Amazon, Disney, but you can't learn about personal finance, productivity, watch tech reviews, unboxing videos. And that's where the power of YouTube really comes in. It's so unique and personal, and people really love the homemade nature of it. And yes, you can create awesome, slick editing and use high quality cameras, but the typical YouTuber is a normal person in their home filming things that they're interested in. So what have I learned from 6 months on YouTube? Well, I'm lucky enough to have a great community of other YouTubers who we can share wins with and fails with, and we chat daily on WhatsApp. But YouTube is mentally tough, and it requires a lot of work for nothing at the start. You'll put everything into a video and get 5 views and probably get a dislike from some muppet, which can really bring you down when you're new. And it really is a thankless job. But with anything, you have to stick at it for a long period of time to really see the results, which is the joy of compounding. A lot of growth on YouTube is all about seeing that small, regular, incremental increases with maybe a few boosts and higher steps along the way with a few viral videos. But over time, that velocity increases until you hit the exponential curve. And to do that, you need to be creating awesome content for a minimum of 2 years before you can think about quitting. Otherwise, you just haven't given it what it takes. I've also learned that it's not all about the views, it's about attracting the right audience who you want to keep in your tribe, as well as how you keep people engaged in videos to focus on stats like click-through rate, retention, watch time, engagement, whether your audience return, and all of this helps you continue to grow in your niche. The secret sauce is all about enjoying creating the videos. It's hard work that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, and to provide value to all of the viewers in every single video. It's an amazing model where you don't have to charge people to consume valuable content, but you can still teach them things or inspire them, and you still get paid in the process. And for those that stick at it and do an amazing job for 2 to 3 years are the people who really get rewarded in the figures. Usually they end up going into the millions. A lot of people see it as an overnight success, but they don't see the 3 years that it took of endless late nights, writing scripts, editing videos to get there. I have absolutely no regrets starting a YouTube channel. It's amazing that I have this platform where new people are discovering my content every single day, which is 100 times better than Instagram, Twitter, or anything else I've ever used. And it's a platform for me that has generated over 1 million views in 6 months, which is just absolutely insane. And to put it into context, 20,000 subscribers is the same as filling an entire arena. So you really have to put context behind the numbers sometimes so you don't lose perspective, because the numbers can be so big on YouTube. I hope you found this video useful. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out my others like this one on the top here, which is how I manage my money like the rich, or you can check out the one on the bottom, which is how I got rich in crypto and then lost it all. So feel free to choose one of these, and I will see you in the next video.